Good morning. I'm in the show. Good morning, wonderful, beloved community, Center for Spiritual Living, Eugene, and beyond. If you're tuning in this morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. So wonderful to be able to be with all of you, even though I can't see you, I can feel you in my heart. And I thank you from the bottom of my heart for being with us here this morning. So namaste. Let's begin to settle in. We're going to do a meditation, focusing on breath, focusing in on unity. So wherever you are, find a comfortable space. And if you can, try to sit with your spine straight so that the breath, when we're moving with the breath, is allowing to move up and down the spine. So try not to slouch. Let's just settle into that spot. Begin to turn your attention inward. Maybe create a soft gaze with the eyes. Maybe close them down. And start to become aware of your breath. Feeling that breath naturally slow down. And as it's slowing down, you naturally become more aware of every breath. Slow, deep breaths. Knowing that this breath is living as you, through you, right here, right now. This is the very effortless expression of life. Just your awareness of the breath alters and modifies the whole. Slowing down the breath even more. Knowing your breath is responding to you. I want you now to allow your body to become in the field of your awareness. Feel the body. See how it is effortlessly existing right now. Life is expressing herself as this body right now. Now, take your awareness to the level of the mind, your sensory perception, your thoughts. Your mind in the field of your awareness. See how your mind also responds in the field of your awareness. It naturally becomes more quiet. More spacious. Existing effortlessly. Right here and right now. Breath, body, and mind. all within the field of your awareness. You are the breath. You are the body. You are the mind. Breathing deep. And now I want you to allow your awareness to arrive at the level of being. The nature of being is cosmic. Allow your awareness to expand. No boundaries. And with your very next breath, allow your awareness to bring in the whole earth. Mama Gaia. Become aware of how the earth organizes itself. Mama Gaia. A complete living system, organizing itself effortlessly. And yet, it very responds to your awareness right now. See all of it right now. Infuse it into your very being right now. And with your very next breath, infuse an intention of unity and love right now. And call for the deepest prayer you have ever done of love and unity. Vibrate that from your whole self out into the field of your awareness. And know that it is responding right now. The whole is in you right now. This is your opportunity to become a conscious agent of love and unity. This is the greatest opportunity to end violence, suffering, and infuse your whole being with love and compassion right now. I'm going to invite you to bring your hands together in a prayer mudra. Put them over your sacred temple of your heart. From the deepest place of your being, begin to generate some heat between the hands. And take your hands, open them up, radiate them outwards. From the deepest place of your being, continue to radiate with your breath, the level of your awareness. this love, this compassion, the unity for all sentient beings. I'm going to invite you wherever you are. We're going to chant Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. I'm inviting you wherever you are, despite who is looking, despite who is watching, to radiate that out of your being. So with your very next breath. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Thank you so much for allowing me to lead and guide you this morning. We're living in amazing times, and it's up to each and every single one of us to wait for the perfect time to radiate, to hold that perfect love and unity in the end of separation. Namaste.
Thank you, Sean. Thank you so much for that beautiful meditation and for setting the tone for us this morning. And if you are just tuning in and missed that amazing meditation, welcome to Center for Spiritual Living, Eugene. My name is Linda Finley, and I am the spiritual director here. And I'm delighted that you could be with us for this sacred and special time. Science of Mind Center for Spiritual Living is a new thought spiritual community. We are part of a larger organization here that believes that God dwells in and through all of creation. So everyone and everything is sacred and worthy of our respect and our love. Here at the center, our mission is to inspire minds, open hearts, and empower lives using the principles of our teaching, the science of mind. We do this because we know spiritually empowered people live richer and fuller lives, and that is what this is all about, is creating a world that works for everyone and giving people the tools that empower them to create a life that is theirs and is good in the world. This week we are celebrating the month of July. Unchained Spirituality is the theme, and it's about the whole idea of freedom. but it's also about the idea that spirituality exists in and through all of creation. We don't become more spiritual. We are spiritual beings having a human experience. And we're very blessed today because our own Angela Alcantar is going to be giving the talk a little bit later on the Tao of freedom. And so I'm looking forward to that. And I know you're going to enjoy it as well. And Haley Loren, after a bit, is also going to be singing for us. So we've got some good stuff lined up today. Some years back, about 100 years ago, our founder, Ernest Holmes, set out a document which he called What We Believe, and it's come to be kind of morphed into this thing called the Declaration of Principles, and it's been broken into parts. And we've been going through those week by week, a little at a time, just to take it, look at it, chew on it a bit, and see what it does for us. This week we're on number 3. We're on the 3rd time through this year so far. And this one is on personal immortality. We believe in the eternality, the immortality, and the continuity of the individual soul, forever and ever expanding. And this seems like a really good place for me to let everybody know. We've made announcements on our Facebook page, our group, and we announced it in our newsletter. But for those of you who aren't hooked up with us tech-wise, one of our beloved practitioners, Carol Mapp, who was 91 years old, made her transition this Tuesday. She had a very rapid onset of a heart issue and was in the hospital, and her son Ken was able to come down from Seattle, and he was with her as she left. And I've been working with he and one of his brothers, and there will be a memorial this coming Saturday. There'll be more about that. It will be offered as a live stream, so that those of you who feel at risk won't have to come unless you choose to. I'm so saddened by that, and yet the idea of the eternality, the immortality, and the continuity of the individual soul, everyone who Carol touched feels her presence, knows her as the loving essence and energy that she was, and we are very, very blessed to have known her, and we will be celebrating her. Right now, I would like to call back Sean Ferguson to do a spiritual mind treatment to open up to set the tone for today's service. Thank you, Sean.
Thank you, Linda. For those of you just joining us here, just go ahead and just take a moment and just take a deep breath. Let it go. And another one. Deep breath in. Let it go. One more deep breath. Take it all the way in. And I recognize right here and right now that the very breath that I am breathing, that there is an intelligence, that there is a power, that there is a love that is breathing me right here and right now. I recognize this because I am showing up with my very breath and with my very words. I operate as a conduit for spirit to be able to share this prayer, this affirmation, this invocation. And I realized I showed up today to be a part of this fabulous community by divine appointment. I am not an outsider looking in. I am it. I am co-creating this experience. The very music that we are blessed with by Haley is me. I know the words of the Tao of freedom that are spoken divinely by Angela is exactly what I need to hear to be able to gain the tools and the awareness and the capacity to live a life of freedom. to live a life of love, to live fully present despite what my external circumstances are telling me, that I have the tools to be able to stay in my power and in my truth, which is love. And I am so absolutely grateful for this awareness, for the growth, for the center, for everybody that comes together to make this happen. To be able to take this time and share and listen and tune in. I just say thank you, God. Thank you, Spirit. And I just let this all go. I am open, I am ready, and I am here. And together we say, and so it is.
And so it is. Thank you, Sean. That was exquisite. I'm moved by those words because we are a community, even though we're not meeting in person, there is still this underlying connection between each of us. And I love to see the comments in the chat. And so if you are watching, just say hello and that you're here. It helps us. I want to also today welcome Bruce Fingerhood, who's stepping in to help with the camera work. Bruce, as most of you know, is a fabulous nature photographer. And so I asked him if he would kind of take care of helping out and backing up Gabby. And he was blessed and kind enough to step in and work with her on this. So I'm very, very grateful to have him here. Each month we have an affirmation. We're about halfway through the month now, and we're going to be looking at this July affirmation this time the next week, and then we'll move on. But I really like the idea that we can say this together, so I'm going to call Liz to bring that up, and I'm going to read it through once, and then if you choose to repeat it aloud with me the second time, so we still have this sense of seeing and hearing the words. So I'm going to read it for now. The infinite lives within me and expresses its divine nature in me, through me, and as me. As part of the one life, I am living for the greater good of life itself. And now together. The infinite lives within me and expresses its divine nature in me, through me, and as me. As part of the one life, I am living for the greater good of life itself. And as Angela speaks to us in a few moments about the Tao and the idea of the connectedness of all things, everything we do is the one life expressing through us. So I am that one. I am always that one. And everything I do, I need to be conscious. Am I working for the greater good of all life within me? Am I working for the greater good of all life itself? So one of the ways we get greater good is from beautiful music. And Haley Loren is going to be joining us now to sing for us. Hi, Haley. Hello. It's so good to see you.
Good to see you too.
And as soon as Haley finishes, Angela's going to come up and deliver her talk on the Tao of Freedom. So Haley, take it away. We love you.
I love you too. And thank you. I'm so glad to be with you this morning. When I found out what Angela's talk was going to be about, this song immediately came to mind for me. It's one of my very favorites that I started doing back at the center in, I don't know, in my earliest years, back when I was maybe 17, 18 years old even. And so this song reminds me of some of the few principles that I really know about the Tao. And part of the Tao Angela's going to talk about, I'm sure, has to do with being like water. And but this song for me is both that and also being shaped by water, being made more gentle by the process of allowing things to occur as they do, and allowing that rather than to embitter you, to soften you. And that's to me what this song's about. And it's called Rolling River God. Rolling river God, little stones are smooth, only once the water passes through. So I am a stone, rough and grainy still, trying to reconcile this river's chill. But when I close my eyes and feel you rushing by, I know that time brings change, and change takes time. But when the sunset comes, my prayer would be this one, that you might pick me up and notice that I am just a little smoother in your hand. Sometimes raging wild, sometimes swollen high. Never have I known this river dry. The deepest part of you is where I long to stay, to feel the sharpest edges wash away. And when I close my eyes and feel you rushing by, I know that time brings change, and change takes time. But when the sunset comes, my prayer would be just one, that you might pick me up and notice that I am just a little smoother in your hand. Rolling river God, little stones are smooth, only once the water passes through.
beautiful. And for those of you watching live, if you haven't already, please go ahead and share and show your love for that gift of music. As always, it's an honor and with deep gratitude that I get to share this talk with you today. I think it's fair to say that we are experiencing challenging times. And one thing I like to do when I am faced with a challenge that I'm not sure what to do about, I like to return to an absolute truth. This week in one of the classes I'm facilitating, we were talking about those absolute truths as touchstones. What is the idea I can come back to if I begin to forget the truth of who I am? An example might be that there is nothing too big or too small for spirit. So there is no idea that is impossible, because for spirit, it is all the same. There has been another idea that has been crossing my path from multiple sources. And the most recent source was Marianne Williamson. On Friday evening, I participated in a live talk that she hosted with Neil Donald Walsh. And one of the ideas that she suggested, and that keeps coming up, is that the root of all of our challenges is that we believe in separation from God. We identify more with our body self than with our spirit self. And Neil Donald Walsh continued to explain that it kind of began with the cosmology of a God out there separate from us. And that idea that God is out there separate from us has permeated our psychology, our sociology, every aspect of our living. So one of the ways that we can face the challenges before us is returning to the truth of who we are. We are spirit, in us, as us, through us. One other idea of this idea of a separate cosmology is that we have something that is an other. And as long as we identify an other, we are always against something, and there's always something against us. So moving into the Tao of freedom, I'm excited to talk about the Tao today because it's something that has crossed my path and caught my attention before I even knew what it was. And again, it's interesting how things show up in our life and they circle back when we're ready to learn more and go deeper. The Tao is actually difficult to define, but I'm going to share a couple pieces of information with you that come as close as we can to defining the Tao. This first piece is from Eastern Wisdom, Western Soul by Richard Singer. Throughout the entire universe exists an all-encompassing, all-loving, and omniscient flow of energy that unites everyone and everything. The Taoists describe it in the following way. The great Tao flows everywhere. All things depend on it for life, and it does not turn away from them. One may think of it as a mother of all beneath heaven. We do not know its name, but we call it Tao. Deep and still, it seems to have existed for forever. So it's like our idea of first cause, of source. We do our best to define it and to relate to it, but it's a concept that is so large that in some ways it is indefinable, and we just come as close as we possibly can. And the same way from the Taoist writing is that to define the Tao, it's actually an unanswerable question because it's a relationship that each of us have with it. And we know it to the ability that we are able to understand it, to our set of limitations or lack of limitation, and it relates to us according to our own perception. So that is very much like what Ernest Holmes says and the Bible says. It is done unto us as we believe. We know the Tao to the extent that we are able and willing to know spirit. So we already mentioned in that first definition that the Tao is an all-encompassing force. And two aspects that I want to focus on today are the stillness of mind which means we come completely present in this moment with our actions, with our thoughts. And when we do that, when we are completely present in this moment, then our actions are effortless and frictionless. And as I am assuming many of you know, the book by Eckhart Tolle, The Power of Now, talks about the importance of being present in the moment. And most of the talk today is going to talk about the idea of not striving, to allow ourselves to be open to the workings of the universe. And I relate this to the ideas of Michael Beckwith and his 4 stages of spiritual consciousness. And to the extent that I understand this at this point, and I always like to frame it that way because as I continue to lean into these teachings, my understanding grows and changes. So my understanding of this idea of allowing relates to, for me, to his 2 ideas of spirit through me and spirit as me. There's stages 3 and 4 of his 4 stages of spiritual consciousness. As I was preparing for this talk, I watched a YouTube video on Taoism, the philosophy of flow. And the presenter of that video gave an example of a butcher and how he had learned his craft. And when he turned over to the Tao and allowed spirit to move through him, he no longer looked with his eyes, but he allowed spirit to guide his moves. And that presents with it a certain amount of freedom, of allowing rather than trying and striving. If you want to be free and powerful, learn to be like water. Although soft and yielding, water can wear away the hardest rock in the world. And this is from Lao Tzu, the Tao Te Ching, verse 43. That which offers no resistance overcomes the hardest substance. That which offers no resistance can enter where there is no space. Few in the world can comprehend the teaching without words or understand the value of non-action. So part of what this verse speaks to me is that when we accept what is, and we are fully present in the moment to what is, we can be open to enter a new space. And in here it says there, enter where there is no space. But what I know is that with our thoughts, with our openness, we can create space. But it requires a certain amount of gentleness, a willingness to be open to something new, a new idea. So going back to this idea of non-action, what they call that in Taoism is the Wu Wei. And so it goes back to the idea of not striving, but allowing. It's known as non-action, effortless action, and sometimes the action of not acting. And that might be confusing. But sometimes, if we at least stop what we're currently doing, because we want to step into a new paradigm, we want to create a new cause, if we at least stop what we're doing, that is taking an intentional action to not act. And in that space, that new idea can be born, that new idea can present itself. But if we continue acting without consciousness, without stillness, to hear that small voice within, we're going to keep perpetuating what has always happened. So another way to talk about the Wu Wei is that being in that state of flow, being in the zone. So those of you who have been athletes, who have a craft that you absolutely love, and you get in that zone where you lose all track of time and space. You're in touch with spirit in that moment. You're in touch with the Tao in those moments. And use that, going back to touchstones, use that feeling, use that inspiration and creativity that you have in those moments. And I invite you to ask yourself, how can I use this knowledge to help me understand this new challenge that's in front of me? If you want to know what is yours to do, What this would suggest is, again, leaning in and follow the path of least resistance. And if you're feeling a lot of resistance, if you're receiving a lot of resistance, what I'd like to suggest is that it isn't yours to do, or maybe it's not yours to do right now in this moment. In this idea of effortless action, there are no extremes, there are no worries, there is no rumination, and everything just flows. So, speaking about the power of gentleness, by forcing and striving, we might get the job done, but we spend so much time and energy that isn't necessary. And we might end up suffering from the collateral damage. And this really speaks to me in that that's how I used to live life. I've always been pretty good at manifesting ideas in my life, but I used to do it through striving, through a lot of effort. And once I accomplished my goal, I was never happy. I was never satisfied. I just had to move on to that next experience of effort, of working hard, of striving. And now that I've learned, as I'm moving into learning how to be in the flow, how to recognize what is mine to do, I can share with you that I have a joy and satisfaction out of what I do more than ever before. And this idea is so important to me that I even have it tattooed on my wrist. And the funny thing is that this called to me, this spoke to me before I even knew what it was. And then interestingly in life has brought me the lessons of what it means. So someone in the state of flow approaches tasks with an intelligence, a knowing when to act and when not to act. And they find that balance between action and non-action. So an idea that's coming to mind right now is if you think about a time you're in a conversation and you want to interject an idea, and there's something in the back of your head that says, just wait, keep listening. And you decide to listen to that voice, and you realize that by waiting, the other individual either said what you were going to say or shared an additional point that had you interrupted, you would have missed some valuable information. So that's an example of when we can act and when we can be aware if action is the right decision in that moment. Now, if this sounds a little strange to you, that's okay, because in our Western ideology, we are trained to work really hard. We're trained to force things to happen, to put in every effort. And we believe, some of us believe, that the harder we work, the better results. That it's important to be ambitious and take control. We mistake stillness for passivity or laziness. And we believe we can and should be in control of the environment. What I like to do is look at the results. And I just wonder if our attempt to control the environment, if it's working. What evidence do we have that it's working or that it's not working? And I would like to suggest that in our attempt to control, we are actually creating destruction and pain. So Taoism also suggests that results are actually the consequence of a series of actions, not necessarily the amount of effort. So the way that we can apply that in our own lives is to choose our actions wisely. It's not how much we do, but it's the quality with which we do it. When we're in alignment with spirit, when we're in alignment with the Tao, the actions will come naturally and problems will solve themselves. And again, I forgot to think of a specific example, but I know that in applying this, again, when I get stuck with a challenge, my natural instinct is to create a plan to solve it. And what I found that when I step back And I stay focused on the quality of life that I want to experience. And I focus on that quality. So I am acting, but then I allow spirit to show up. How can I experience that quality? Rather than making a plan to execute, I focus on the quality and I allow spirit to show up. And it takes a lot less effort. And my experience in it is way better. So allowing these actions to come naturally is trusting spirit through us as us. But we have to slow down enough to listen. We have to be still enough to hear that small voice within. It's like going along with the current of the river instead of trying to swim against the current. Guess if you want some exercise, it's okay to, swim against the current, but the ride might be easier, funner, more enjoyable. You might be able to enjoy the sights if you decide to flow with the river instead of against it. Rivers follow their natural course, the path of least resistance. Water navigates rather than tries to control. And as I was going through this and kind of playing it out in my mind, I had this image of water going down the river and coming to a boulder and tell you, boulder, you're in my way. You shouldn't be here. You're doing it the wrong way. Whatever. That idea that we're faced with something, an obstacle, and we try to resist it. And that idea of water having that response is just, it's like silly. So if we watch water, it hits the obstacle and just effortlessly goes around it. Yesterday, I had the opportunity to go hiking at Sweet Creek Falls. And there were so many different waterfalls, and it was so beautiful to see the many different ways that water adapted and went around the rocks and through. And it reminds me of the beauty that we can experience if we go with the flow. And it looks different. Every single waterfall looked different. And that's the same for each of us. We're all on our own path. We all have our own river to flow, and it's going to look different. But if we just stay present in what is ours to do, present in our own river, everything will work itself out. Water is powerful because it does not, let me share who this is from. So this is from Sun Teo. Water is powerful because it does not resist. When there is no resistance, there is no draining of energy on frustration, depression, fighting, or the defense of the ego. This alone is a source of great strength. By being yielding, water never has to struggle. It does not resist its path. It simply flows. It lives as what it is meant to live. Living like water, therefore, gets you to live the real you. It gives you the composure for searching the deepest end of your inner self. It gets you to stay in the present moment and enjoy more of what you are here to enjoy and to do and to have. Living like water is living like the Tao. It gives us more freedom, the power to wear away the rocks in life and stay who we are. So one more quote from Lao Tzu, and this is verse 78, translated by J.H. MacDonald. Water is the softest and most yielding substance, yet nothing is better than water for overcoming the hard and rigid, because nothing can compete with it. Everyone knows that the soft and yielding overcomes the rigid and hard, but few can put this knowledge into practice. So what I'd actually like to do, some of you I've spoken with over the weeks, and I want to give you all another example that you hopefully can relate to. So I invite you all right now to take a fist. And I invite you to actually do it. Don't just think about it, but do it and close that fist. And this is our resistance. And tell the fist in your mind how wrong it is, that it's doing the wrong thing, it's showing up in the wrong way. And then just with your other hand, try to see if you can, while you're still thinking these thoughts about resistance, about how wrong it is, how it should be a different way. It's really hard to get your finger in there. You probably could if you exerted a lot of effort and you tried really hard, you probably could. So with that same fist, take your other hand and gently massage it and say, you know what? You're right where you need to be. You're doing what is yours to do, and it may look different than me, but I know that you're showing up exactly how you need to in this moment, and we'll take care of the next moment as it arrives. Now try to put your finger in there, and you'll probably notice that it was softer, that it was easier. This is like the water just gently going around the resistance and doing what is it's to do and softening that hardness of resistance. So in conclusion, Taoism to me is about learning how to go with the natural ebbs and flows of life without resisting what is. It's about surrendering to the unfoldment rather than trying to plan and control life. It's being like water. We are living from the consciousness of spirit through us and as us, not as a thing separate from us. When we're in the flow of the Tao, there is nothing against us. We simply navigate what is in front of us at any given moment, in the present moment. And again, we worry about that next moment as it comes. We spend a lot of time anticipating what is going to come. And as we know, our energy helps co-create what we experience in life. So if we're anxious about what is yet to be, we're contributing to that outcome. But if we stay present in this moment, we will absolutely be guided of what we have to do today, right now. And when tomorrow comes, we will be guided in what we have to do tomorrow in that moment. If we remember the truth of who we are and we allow spirit to flow through our lives. So if you feel called, I invite you to try this. And let me say really quick first, though, if it doesn't resonate with you, then it's not yours to do, and that's okay. You're flowing your own river. Trust that, honor it. But if you do feel called, or if you do in the future, just try it out and see what happens. That's what I do with most of these principles. I ask myself, if I believe this is true, then what is possible? So this idea of not resisting, but being present in the moment. If you find yourself striving, take a step back. Notice how you're feeling. And allow yourself to come back to the stillness. Be patient and allow spirit to move through you. Move from body identified to spirit identified. And you'll be closer to living from that space of oneness. Thank you all for joining me today. Namaste. And is it Sean's turn now to come back and offer the offering? All right.
Am I on? Angela, thank you so much. Wow, inspiring. So what I know right here and right now, that my prosperity, my flow of money in my life is like this Tao. It comes to me effortlessly. And so in this moment, I let it go effortlessly, not worrying about where or how the next amount's going to come. But I know that this center for spiritual living supports me in all the ways that I need to be able to create this abundant life. It has all the tools. So I give with all of my heart and with all of my might effortlessly. Because I know inside dwells this infinite wellspring, and there is no running out. There is just supply. And so it is. And there's ways that I can give. I can stop in and see the office manager. Here on the board, you can see we have a PayPal. You can text Tiny Earl. Anyway, there's many ways that you can give. So please do that. It helps keeps the lights on, keeps beautiful musicians like Haley coming, and all the amazing things that keep this thing alive. So blessings, and so it is.
Angela, for that absolutely beautiful lesson filled. It's always wonderful. You know, I create a talk every week almost. And so when I get to sit and be fed, that's a great treat for me. And I truly was fed today, and that means a lot. And so we're going to close now with a couple of announcements. We did let you know earlier about Carol Mapp's transition. And this Saturday, July 25th at 10:30 in the morning on the south lawn of the center, across from the parking lot, we're going to have an outdoor celebration of life. We're hoping to keep it well under 50 people, closer to about 30 people. There will be families, some people from folk dancing, and some people from the center there. And we will be putting it on Facebook Live. I'm being told something and I don't know what it means. So hi. The spirit is speaking. I just need to be quiet and listen evidently. So, oh, Haley's on there. Oh, Haley's going to sing. Ah, duh. How could I forget Haley was going to sing? Hello.
Hello.
Duh. Sing for us, Haley. Please excuse me.
It's, you know what? Everything in its time. It's okay.
Everything.
As you can see, there are two of us here now. This is Daniel Gallo, for those who don't know him. And we're going to do a song called Evergreen that he wrote that really reminded me of the feeling that I got from listening to Angela's talk today. Well, I'll just let the song speak for itself, but it's been such a lovely pleasure to spend this morning with you guys. The wind through the trees colors my blues evergreen, and the angels don't make a sound. Sweet lullaby, river running by my side, and there's nothing can't be found, and I'm high, the velvet of forest, the taste of the sky. As I lay down dreaming of stars in the sky, and all of these moments that I don't know why. Time will take everything from me, but till then, well, you can color me evergreen. Color my blue evergreen. The wind through the trees colors my blues evergreen, and the angels don't make a sound. Sweet lullaby, river running by my side, and there's nothing, nothing to be found. Thank you, guys.
Wow. That was worth waiting for. Thank you so much, Daniel and Haley. Amazing. So here we are. Carol's memorial will be, or celebration of life will be next Saturday, July 25th at 10:30 in the morning on the South Lawn. We've so far gotten 4 lawn canopies donated, those 10 by 10 things that you can put up. We need at least 2 or 3 more. So if you would contact the office or email me or contact me on Facebook, if you can donate one of those. I want to thank Timothy Patrick, who's setting up and donating his sound system. We've got a couple of people bringing cookies and iced tea and punch. If we could get a little bit more of the cookies and some cold water or ice. We have gloves, so somebody can be the one handing out the cookies and people aren't touching them. We'll figure out all this. We are asking if you do attend, please, the chairs will be set up at social distancing, and we are asking everybody to please wear a mask, even though we are outside. That is the new regulation in the state of Oregon here. And the service will be live streamed, so be watching for the newsletter this week, or just go to our Facebook page Saturday morning, and you can click on. I am told that Sean would like to share a message right now, so I'm going to step out of the way and let Liz bring Sean up to share a message from the practitioners.
Wonderful, wonderful service today. I just want to let everyone know that's tuning in that I am available, as many of the other practitioners are still available. If you're finding a moment where you just can't see your way back to the truth, you can't see your way through something, if you're just needing to be held and be reminded of your wholeness, I'm available. You can reach me through the office. You can reach me through Facebook. You can text me. You can call me anytime, day or night. I would love to be able to know your truth, even some of your joys. I would celebrate your joys. Anything that you got, if you just need someone, we are here as a team for you all the time. Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you for that beautiful reminder, Sean, because I think as we get isolated in our separation from one another, we can forget that we are community and your practitioners are here, and we are available to, we've had a, I'm going to keep, okay. I actually don't need any of the announcement slides up, so I just wanted to mention, if you were wondering about donations or flowers or anything for Carol's service, the family has asked, what Carol really wanted was to put a bench by the labyrinth, the Carol map bench. And so I'm going to be talking to some of my crafty people to put a concrete slab down, and then we will get a nice bench that will withstand being in the weather and create a plaque. So if you would like to donate to the creation of a commemorative bench honoring Carol to sit at the labyrinth, please just contact the office and we'll take care of that. And then be watching this week's newsletter. There will be a link for the classes that are available that are being offered in August. I'm going to be doing my 3rd module of the Keys to Consciousness, and you don't have to have taken 1 or 2 to take 3. These are meant to be standalone modules. So please, if you're interested in being in a Zoom class, either Wednesday night or Friday morning, check the newsletter this week, and there'll be a link there to sign up. It's $15 a week or whatever. I just would rather have you be in the class than not. And Angela, your classes are full now. Is that right? Are they open or?
Well, they just started. We've had enough weeks that it's hard for anybody to join.
Okay, it's too late, but you do have something coming up in August, I believe.
New offerings will happen in September.
new offerings. So Angela's new offerings will be in September. Her current classes are far enough in, you wouldn't be able to catch up. So in any way that we can be here for you, I appreciate that Sean mentioned that. I'm here for you, your practitioners are here for you, your board is here for you. We are still a community, even though the center is not the building. It is the relationship we have with one another. So I want to thank again Michael Brown for sound, Bruce and Gabby for doing cameras, Liz for working behind the scenes, Angela again for that fabulous, beautiful talk today. Thank you so much. And thank you, wherever you are and whatever time you're watching this, for being part of our community and being part of this experience. We love you. We appreciate you. You matter. Thank you. Holding